So what does it feel like driving an EQC? First of all, when you get in, you turn on the engine. Well, it's not really the engine, the battery. All you could feel is this, surreal silence, such that you start to wonder whether the car is actually on. So what you see is just the green sign, just like a rectangular sign that is written within the rectangular sign. Green rectangular sign is written ready, so that means you're ready to drive away. The first time I go into the EQC, I couldn't believe it. Are you kidding me? Do you mean it's time to drive? And it's just very weird if it's something that you're not used to and driving it. Now, when you get into the EQC, you look around you and you see a Mercedes. You look around you, you see what you're used to with regards to standard Merc features. And to me, that is one of the reasons why I went for the EQC instead of for the rivals like Jaguar I-Pace, which a lot of reviewers have actually commended for its handling. Talking about handling, talking about driving for pleasure, you might want to go for an I-Pace. But when you're talking about class and luxury, comfort, I believe that Mercedes EQC trumps that and wins that. Don't get me wrong, there's not a lot of difference between Audi Etron, Jaguar I-Pace and Mercedes EQC. There's not a whole bunch of difference, and they're very close to with regards to pricing as well. Even Mercedes EQC turns out to be cheaper when you consider the basic standard version specs. So how does it feel like driving? You feel pampered, you feel that sense of plushness and refinement that great car makers over the years have struggled they've done everything to be able to perfect. In an electric car, it seems to be easier to hit those buttons of perfection and refinement. And that is what you enjoy when you drive an EQC. Now, another thing that hits you really hard is the acceleration. If you put your foot down, this car moves. I mean, about 62 miles per hour in about 5.1 to 4.9 seconds, depending on who you're believing. But this car is quick. Not really as quick as I-Pace. Maybe I-Pace does in like 4.7 or 4.8. I'm not really sure, but something very similar, quicker than Audi Etron. But the plushness, the quick acceleration, and the fact that you are driving a Mercedes, that should be something that appeals to a lot of Mercedes fans. It's hard to change. We have these chronic intense partisanship when it comes to cars. A lot of people, it doesn't matter whether your car is the best or not, you have to justify that, right? Yes, mine is the best. I prefer my Jaguar, I prefer my Tesla, I prefer my whatever. So when you actually just listen to me right now, you realize that the entire cabin is extremely insulated. If I open this, you hear, just open the window, you hear the noise of the environment. If I shut the window, I'm sure you can notice that. You can notice that in the acoustic features of my iPhone that I'm using to film this. So it's very well refined. They always talk about the heaviness of the EQC, about 2.5 tons, but that is not something that is outlandish when you're talking about SUVs. I have a Q7, Audi Q7 at home, just trying to sell it now. It weighs over 3 tons. I never complain. So, even Poster too weighs about 2.2 tons. So the weight that the size of the battery, plus the batteries and plus the dead weight of the car itself, pushes that to a threshold that is actually very positive when it comes to recuperation. Many times I've driven my EQC out, maybe to get the kids from schools or to do some shopping or to do some other errands, and maybe 5 miles, 6 miles, 7 miles. By the time I go and come back, I realize that I've just arrived with the same amount of battery range I left with. For example, if it's 2 or 4 miles that the dashboard is showing me when I left, after covering about 10 miles, I come back with 2 or 4 miles. Why? Because of the recuperation effect. The weight enables the recuperation to be extremely powerful. And in my previous videos, I've shown you the recuperation gears just right here. I can't show you right now. Perhaps I'll be able to do some cutaway to show you. The gear on the right, the paddle, the shift paddle just at the back of your steering wheel, the one on the right, have 2 recuperation settings, D plus, and we have the D auto, I think so, D plus and D auto. You have to hold it for about 2 seconds, 2-3 seconds to engage the D auto. But if you want some really good recuperation, depending on the level of the road that you are, the nature of the road that you're traveling on, you want the left one. The left side is D minus and D minus minus. And those one could give you huge recuperation effects. But you have to use them at the right time because they actually brake for you a lot. So let's say you're going down the hill or you're in the traffic, you want to engage your D minus just to give you that effect, that braking effect that is consistent with the road that you're driving on. But what I prefer actually going on the long journey is the D auto. Just hold down the right shift paddle behind your wheel. Hold that down for about 2 seconds. It gives you that D auto. So what it does for you is that it's used the intelligence of the cameras and the software to know when to slow your car down for you, to put some battery back in, some energy back in, and sometimes actually slows the car down when you're approaching a car in front of you. So it's really intelligent, and you end up coming back home with the same amount of energy. Of course, not all the time, depending on the nature of the traffic, the kind of the landscape you're driving in. So, ladies and gentlemen, how does it feel to drive a Mercedes? It feels like a Mercedes. Very plush, very refined, and my family loves it. I'm actually on my way to test driving the Audi Etron because it's just to be able to compare this and compare the e-tron. I've heard so much about the e-tron, and I know it's a great car. I used to be an Audi guy. I've got 3 Audis in the past. I still have an Audi Q7 at home right now. But for some reason, my last car, I decided to go for Mercedes S-Class. S-Class 350D 2019, and I decided to go electric. Then I saw that one. I got this EQC. So then my experience with the S-Class changed the whole thing. So I was looking for the same feeling when I got the EQC, and it's somehow it feels like the closest thing to an S-Class comfort in an EV. But I want to prove that, so I'm going right now to the dealership to pick up the Audi Etron to test drive it, and I'm going to update you how that goes. So thank you so much, guys. It's Quattro. Hope you enjoy this, and please like this, subscribe, so that you can get the updates that I'm going to be putting out there. Like it and subscribe. All the very best. Bye bye.